Hello everybody, this is Napa Fan here, and we are here at the Texas Motor Speedway, the old version, the one before they decided to mess up turns 1 and 2, for qualifying in the Interstate Batteries 500 and season number 8 of the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. Of course, we begin with uncharted qualifying. These 8 guys are going to race their way into the show for tomorrow's 67-lap event here from the Texas Motor Speedway. I think it's at noon Eastern tomorrow. Either noon or 1, but you'll see when that is, when it goes up in just a couple of hours. But either way, let's see who makes the show of the uncharted drivers here for the Interstate Batteries 500 from Texas. Got Nick Smith, first guy out there in the number 71. It's a really fast racetrack, high bank, 1.5 miles, and unlike in real life, the 1.5 miles in NR 2003 are some of the best races we get in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series, so I'm really looking forward to this one because it's not going to be like Atlanta where they're pack racing. They're going to get spread out and pit strategy is going to come into play. It's just, in my opinion, one of the best races of the season in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series year after year. So we're bound to have a fun one tomorrow afternoon with 42 drivers taking the green flag here at the Great American Speedway. Nick Smith, first driver to start a lap here at Texas in uncharted qualifying. Other guys out there, Colton Yo in the 98. Stephen Thompson's out there in the number 97. A couple other guys. Christian Russell is the only driver, these 7 uncharted guys, or should I say 8 uncharted guys, to yet make a race in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. It's the 7th race of the season. Everybody else has made at least one start in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series, except for Christian Russell, driving the number 62 for American Motorsports. So hopefully it happens for him here soon. I want to see that American Motorsports 62 get in. That's technically the equivalent of the 36 that ran last year, and that thing made it in maybe half of the season with all of its drivers. So American Motorsports not doing as well on their uncharted program as they did last year, I'll tell you that much. But either way, we'll have to see what Christian Russell can do here on this qualifying lap. And this is the original version of the Texas Motor Speedway. There really isn't a good enough version of this racetrack. Plus, I like the high-banked original version of Texas a lot better than the older version, or should I say the newer version. Can't get my adverbs correct here. But the newer version is actually that would be an adjective. So don't listen to me if you're an English major. But the newer version isn't my favorite. I don't like the flat 1 and 2. I like it to be high-banked like 3 and 4, and it definitely creates for an interesting race here at Texas and interesting racing, so I love it. I love them flying into that corner each and every time. It's always a great place when we come here to the Texas Motor Speedway. Nick Smith is fastest in the number 71. 2 guys have yet to complete a lap, Daniel Voiles and Zachary DeLello. Last week in Martinsville, we really didn't see much of the uncharted guys at all in the main event. That was Daniel Voiles and Nick Smith who made it into a race both for the second time. Actually, Nick Smith for the 3rd time this season. But they both made it into the same race together for the 2nd time this season because Voiles and Nick Smith made it in at Phoenix as well. Right now, the 2 fastest guys are the 98 and 97, and no surprise, they're drafting off each other right here. And this track is definitely fast enough where you can get a draft on the guy ahead of you. Number 98 of Colton Yo, fastest with Stephen Thompson in the 2nd position, and only the top 2 advance on to the main event here from Texas. Nick Smith is now 3rd, Daniel Voiles, Christian Russell, Angel Olvera, Julio Cesar, and Zachary DeLello, the top 8. Colton Yo is going to call it a day here in this session. We're going to have me about 2 minutes remaining. Add about a minute onto the clock once we finish out the session there on the timer. Voiles improved his time to 3rd, but it's not enough to advance into the top 2, and that's what you need to make it on the big show. Julio Cesar, I don't think he's made a race since the Daytona 500. Not been a good uncharted qualifying session season for the number 10 of Julio Cesar. Of course, like we mentioned, the 62 of Christian Russell is yet to make a show this season. And unfortunately for him, it looks like that's going to continue. Going to miss the entire first quarter of the season. This is going to be the quarter mark of season number 8. As it's a 28-race season, race 7. Once we're done with tomorrow's race, we'll be 1/4 of the way through the season in the Strict Points Championship. Mark Davidson's going to come in, the points leader once again, but only 8 points ahead of Hergel Arvin Alonso, who has really stepped up his game this year compared to last year. Looks like the clock will run out here. Gonna add about 30 more seconds, and then maybe 30 more seconds. Watch out for Daniel Voiles. He's drafting off of Angel Olvera. He might get a fast time here this lap. We're going to have to see if he can get it. Currently third right now, Daniel Voiles, trying to knock Stephen Thompson off the top two to advance on to his third race of the season. We'll see if that improves at all. He had a draft on Angel Oliveira, but I don't think it was enough to advance on. And I don't think he'll get back around to complete another lap before time runs out. He might. It'll be close. He is pulling in on Angel Oliveira. We'll have to see if he can nip it at the line here, because it's only going to be 8 seconds. I'm pretty sure that we're going to be done once the clock runs out here. He's going to get to the line in time, but it's not going to be enough to advance on. It'll be Colton Yo and Stephen Thompson in tomorrow's 67-lap event for the Interstate Batteries 500 from Texas. All those other guys failing to qualify. Unfortunately, Christian Russell, his 7th straight race, failing to qualify in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series race. He'll get one eventually, but the first quarter of the season has not been the greatest for Christian Russell. Either way, let's go ahead and set the starting lineup for tomorrow's Interstate Batteries 500. Get the other 40 full-time drivers on the racetrack with Colton Yo and Stephen Thompson to see who wins the pole for this 67-lap event. And here we are back at the Texas Motor Speedway to set the starting lineup for tomorrow's Interstate Batteries 500. Gonna be 67 laps tomorrow. Gonna be 10 minutes here to determine who starts on the pole position for the 7th race of the season. Everybody ready to get going here. And where you start might be a little critical to where you finish in this race, because while passing here is easily possible, a lot easier than it is at Martinsville, it is a little bit difficult to work your way from the back to the front. So these guys will spread out a little bit in tomorrow's race, making it a little bit hard to make those rallies through the field. Here's Matt Dalio, first guy out there on the racetrack. Had a good run going for him at Martinsville, and it all came to nothing as he ended up 2 laps down because of damage off of one of the cautions there at Martinsville. Won't have that issue here at Texas. They keep it pretty clean under the yellow flags here at the Texas Motor Speedway. The first guy out there, number 79 for Otter Island Motorsports. All the teams this season, they are last in the Owners' Championship, and they are the most experienced team. Shows a lot about how the season's been going. We've had 2 rookie winners, but none of the race winners we've had yet this season won a race last year, and only 2 of them had won races in prior Chick-fil-A Cup Series seasons, that being Josh Marzak and last week's winner, Jonathan Skibnicki. Of course, Yepez, one of those guys who won his first career race. Wyatt Quayle and Nathan Baird, the 2 rookies who have won, and Patrick Smith winning his first career race at Phoenix. There's last week's winner, Jonathan Skibnicki, in the number 26. It was a huge win for him there, only his 2nd career Chick-fil-A Cup Series race victory. He was able to best out Sebastian Cucalon and Garrett Sonora to hold off those guys and get the win at one of the toughest places to get a race victory in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series, that being the Martinsville Speedway. Matt Delia put down a wicked fast time and another wicked fast time, 27.25. He is flying out there in the number 79. Being the first guy out there, I don't know if he has any advantage, but I think he was drafting off of Diego Yepez, and that might have been why he was going so faster to start off. I say it was wicked fast because it was so much faster than everybody else, but I don't know how the times are going to be by the time the session ends here, so it really could be anybody at the top of the board. As we get to the end of the session here from Texas. Number 22, Julius Anderson is 2nd, Alexander Rowe, Colton Yo, and Andrew Ross the top 5. Then Zachary Fitzwater, Jonathan Skibnicki, Diego Yepez, Trey Bartow, and Lucas Jacobson. But Dalio is still fastest in the number 79. It has been almost 2 full seasons since he's last won a race in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. Came at Rockingham in season number 6. One of the longest losing streaks in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series is Matt Dalio in the number 79. The guy right in front of him just got the fastest time, grabbed the fastest time from him right there. Yepez to the top of the board in the number 92, drafting off of Nathan Stapleton. But Dalio still 2nd, then it's Skibnicki, Ace Garcia, and Sebastian Cucalon. This line of guys is really fast. That's why we're focusing with them right here. Garcia to the top of the board in the number 81. A great run for him right there, a 27.218 for the Hamill Racing Enterprises driver. There he is, drafting off the 47 machine of Andrew Miller. He got it 3/10 ahead of Diego Yepez. Actually, 3/100ths, I should say. And we got some new faces up front. It's now the 22 and the 12. A 27.18 for Julius Anderson and a 27.19 for Michael Canto right ahead of him. They're getting a draft of a Lucas Jacobson. And now Justin Roberts goes to the top of the board in the number 38, with Seth Cole and Tristan Allen all besting Anderson and Canto. You get these line of guys, you get these three guys in the line, and that's when everyone's going really fast. And Justin Roberts with a wicked fast time behind the number 83 of Seth Cole. Nobody's gone under 27 seconds yet in this session, but I wouldn't be surprised if somebody was able to do it. Great run for Tristan Allen. He's third. That pushes Matt Dalio outside the top 10. He's right now 11th in the number 79. Jonathan Skivnicki, who's also up front earlier on, is now 21st. That's our last winner here in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. Those are the rest of the guys. McMillan and Sam Adeo, the two slowest guys right now. Sam Adeo just improved his time to 6th. Great run there for Niccolo Samedeo, who, by the way, is 7th in the championship standings. All the veteran drivers, he and Alonso have been the most consistent this season. When I say veteran drivers, I mean long-time veteran drivers. Of course, both Alonso and Samedeo both came in season number 2 of the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. If I'm not mistaken, they're the only two season 2 rookies still racing today. Tyler Selzman came in season 2. He retired at the end of season 5. Elijah Gordon came in season 2. He retired in season 7. Maybe next year we'll get another one of those guys to retire. I know Alonso said he was going to retire at the end of last year. But his decision to come back has been a pretty good one. He got a 3rd place finish at Martinsville last week after starting 37th. Gotta locate him on the racetrack here. There he is. He has been doing an excellent job this season for GL Racing. They're a single-car team. The single-car teams don't tend to do that well. Remember Trey Bartow and John Arndt last year. Of course, John Arndt did get a victory, but those guys really weren't factors in the championship all season. Alonso so far has been running up front, and the more you run up front, the more we talk about you. I mentioned he started 37th last week at Martinsville. He's right now 34th. Not the end of the world. Pretty much anyone can win this race. I mean, heck, Alonso almost won Martinsville. He had a good chance of doing so, and he started 37th for that race. So, anything's possible in all these races we have here in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. Where you start means a lot, but doesn't mean you're going to lose the race, even if you start 42nd. It is still Justin Roberts with the fastest time. Emily Anderson moved her way to 4th. Great run for her. And it's Julius Anderson, Michael Canto, Niccolo Samedeo, Lucas Jacobson, Ace Garcia, and Silas Order rounding out the top 10 with Robert, Seth Cole, and the number 3 of Tristan Allen, the top 3 fastest. A lot of veterans up front. The first rookie is Emily Anderson, and the only other rookies in the top 10 are Lucas Jacobson and Silas Orta. The rest of them are veteran drivers of the Chick-fil-A Cup Series, and not only that, all those guys, except for Michael Canto, have raced prior to Season 7. That was really very unnecessary information. I thought they were actually a lot of long-time veterans there, but not as much as I thought there were. Of course, Justin Roberts was in the first edition of this race, back when it was the 4th race of the season in season number 1. Of course, he's the 2nd ever winner on Napa Fan, won the Atlanta race in season number 1. And he's still going strong, even though he took maybe about 3 seasons off, I think, in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. I think seasons 4 through 6 he wasn't in. Maybe even season 3. I don't know if he was in season 3, but he came back last season, and he's going pretty strong this season. Or at least in this session. I don't know where he is in the points. It might not be too good, but his teammate, Josh Marzak's won a race, but his other teammate, Nathan Stapleton, hasn't been doing too good. I believe Stapleton's still last in the points, but so many setbacks for that team, and it's not been that he's not been running well. Been involved in accidents, had blown engines, and all that stuff. He's right now 32nd on the grid. It's still early on in the season. I mean, they'll eventually, you know, get some top 10s, get some top 5s, maybe contend for some wins this season, but that team, which was Diego Yepez's old team last year, which is kind of surprising, because that team last year was really solid in the championship standings. Yepez ended up, I think, finishing 5th in the championship, either 5th or 4th in the championship, driving that same exact car that Nathan Stapleton's driving right now, so you gotta think Stapleton just has a lot of bad luck this season. It's not like he's been running bad. I think it's just been a lot of bad luck. He's been involved in a lot of accidents, a lot of blown engines. He got spun at Martinsville. Remember, he had a blown engine at Las Vegas. Got wrecked at other places. Just not been the season for Stapleton, as he's last in the points of all the full-time guys. And I say that because I think Zachary DeLello still has more points than he does. That should change this weekend, but it's been a tough one for Stapleton in his sophomore season of the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. Well, the times have definitely fallen off, and there hasn't been any change in the top 10. It is still Justin Roberts, fastest on the grid, and it looks like he's going to win the pole for the Interstate Batteries 500, but I think it was Atlanta. We had Riley Spurley come in really late to grab the pole, so it's not over till it's over in these qualifying sessions, but past few minutes, Roberts has been the top guy, and I don't think anybody's going to get to him this final minute here at Texas. So Roberts, Seth Cole, Tristan Allen, Emily Anderson, Julius Anderson. Oh, Anderson and Anderson right on each other there. And off by 1/1000th of a second. That's interesting. But goes Roberts, Seth Cole, Tristan Allen, Emily Anderson, Julius Anderson, Michael Canto, Nicholas Amadeo, Lucas Jacobson, Ace Garcia, Silas Orta. And it's been that way for the past few minutes, so I don't think we're going to get any other guys in that top 10. I think the tires have worn out for these guys. I think we're going to be seeing Justin Roberts leading the field of the green flag for tomorrow's 67-lap race here from the Texas Motor Speedway at noon Eastern Time, right here on Napa Fan. Gonna be a fun one. I think it's going to be better than Martinsville last week. Going to be one of the best races of the season. It always is here when we come to Texas. Love this place and in our 2003, and I'm going to give you guys a good show. Gonna find him right there. There's your pole sitter. I'll let the clock run out right here, and it looks like the number 38 is going to be able to get it. Justin Roberts has 22 seconds left, and he's going to be the pole sitter. I haven't seen any change in this top 10 in like the past 5 minutes. One of those tracks where tire wear does come into play. It is one of those odd racetracks where technically the surface is only 6 years old in the game, but they wear them out very quickly here. And tire wear is going to come into play tomorrow because we're going to see some long green flag runs, and this pit stop is going to be spread out, and you just know how it goes. Always comes into play when you come to a place where we get long green flag runs. That's when it gets interesting. And it's going to be an interesting race tomorrow at noon. Justin Roberts, Seth Cole, Tristan Allen, Emily Anderson, Julius Anderson. Only 3 rookies in the top 10 to start, and one of them has been around on Napa Fan for quite a while, and Emily Anderson. So only 2 true rookies, Lucas Jacobson and Silas Horta, in the top 10. I mean, they are all true rookies. Who am I kidding? But we got a tie between Fisher G and Patrick Smith. Ooh, I don't know who's got that one. We'll have to check back in there in the championship standings. John Andrews should have it on Alexander Rowe, the teammates at Wade Enterprises. And I believe that is it for the ties. That's how they're going to line up. Garrett Tenori was runner-up last week, finishing 42nd in qualifying. Not exactly where you want to be. But, like I said, all these guys have a shot at winning. It's hard to win from the back, but it's still possible. I mean, those guys are going to have to get a couple cautions to come their way. If they don't get cautions and we end up with green flag pit stops, they're not going to have a good day. They're going to have to work their way to the front before the first set of pit stops happen. So, as long as you're running, I say, top 10 during the first set of green flag pit stops, you're going to have a shot at the victory. But if you pass that, I don't know if you will. That's what happens here at Texas. They kind of spread out as the race goes along, so it's going to get interesting. That's all I got to say. Justin Roberts with the pole, Seth Cole, Tristan Allen, Emily Anderson, Julius Anderson, top 5. That's how they're going to line up, with the exception of Fisher G, Patrick Smith. We got to break that tie. I don't know who has it, but either way, other than that, that's how they're going to line up for tomorrow's 67-lap race here from Texas. Interstate Batteries 500 at noon Eastern right here on Napa Fan. Thank you guys so much for watching. Congratulations to Justin Roberts on his pole position, and I will see you guys later.